Line's good.
Never on.
Whoa.
Hard. Hardly.
Come on, Brent. Line's good. Got real close. The hair high, right? Trying to hit 2/3.
Have they saved it for her? Yes, they have.
Ooh, welcome to Game of Stones, everybody. I am Sean Graham, Scott, alongside, as always. Hello, Scott.
Sean, good to be here. Welcome to 2026.
Yeah.
You got any New Year's resolutions?
No, I do not. I'm very satisfied with how things are going. So
That's great.
I'm good. How about you?
My New Year's resolution that I achieved before the new year
Ooh.
was I listened to our best of episode, and I got to say it was great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I
really liked it.
enjoyed cutting that one together.
Yeah, I was walking around the streets of Budapest as I listened to it, just ambling, through,
Yeah.
this street looks fun. Let's go down there. And yeah, it was great. Good job.
Did you enjoy that I included your heater?
Yeah, I really like that. Putting it all together, it makes it quite impressive, I think.
It was, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, less impressive in the sense of like we know. It was like, yeah, of course you were right, because we know who won.
Yeah, and because I picked the best teams most of the time. So
Yeah, there was no real shockers last year. Nothing really
Yeah.
jumped out.
pretty
Like, oh,
chalky.
hey,
Pretty
you
chalky.
picked Homan. Oh, okay, great. Like, yeah.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah, really going on a limb there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
But
Scott,
yeah,
you
so-
are back. You had a good time, I surmise.
Yeah, I did. I went back to the gym this week, and boy, I was quite sweaty today. So that's good. Back in the swing of things. Came back to a lot of snow, but apparently, I'm told there's a lot of snow in Budapest right now. We
Ooh.
had snow on New Year's Eve there, and it was this magical thing that hasn't snowed in quite a while. But apparently, it's all just dumping right now, and things are going nuts. So
Wow. Is Budapest one of those places that exists really all over the world that gets snow so rarely that when it happens, just shut it down?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe less so 20 years ago, but
Right.
it's just been so infrequent recently
Hmm.
that people don't know what to do.
All right. Well, hopefully everyone's staying safe at the very least. Because when you're not used to snow, if you're out driving around, like it can be legitimately dangerous, or walking around too. Like it can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing or you're not used to it.
Yeah, for sure. I was driving around this week here in Ottawa, and I had a lot of snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the first winter now, Scott, for you on your new street. And well, your old street was like this. And certainly where I used to live downtown was like this, where the streets, once you got a lot of snow, went from, enough room for two cars and a car parked to single file.
Single file, baby.
So how's your road doing?
Well, it's pretty good. Luckily, we're a one-way street that I live on, so you can pile the snow on both sides. And yeah, some people are still able to park, but you only have one car to have to get by. Nobody's
good.
coming at you.
Yeah.
So
It does make it easier being a one way.
yeah, so far so good. And my neighbor, it pays to have her driveway shoveled out so that when the plow comes by, they come and make sure she can get her car out.
Yeah.
And they've been doing mine for free
Ooh.
because I'm not paying them. So I'm not telling anyone except
Okay.
everyone I just told.
Yeah.
But we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out if they listen. If they're listeners.
Yeah.
You get your first bill.
We'll see.
Yeah. So Scott, you are back in North America, here in Canada, as are many of the world's best curlers. They are playing as we speak in the Players Championship, which has moved this year from its traditional April spot to right now. It's also moved from its traditional spot in Toronto in the old Maple Leaf Gardens, which is named for some company now and is a Loblaws on one level and the arena on top of it. But this year, Scott, it's out in beautiful Steinbach, Manitoba at the Southeast Event Center final Grand Slam of the season. Scott, a couple things have come out of the fact that this is going on right now. The first is that the World Curling Federation has released a new sweeping standard, new rules for sweeping that are going into effect as of right now. The Grand Slam is adhering to this. All the players are going to play to this standard this weekend. And of course, more importantly, it is going to be in place at the Olympic Games. So we want to talk about that. Also, because it is the last Grand Slam, wanted to go back and look at 2022 and see, do the slams predict anything? Can we use these events to look forward? So I've gone back at the 2021-2022 season and see if there is any correlation between Olympic success. So that's what we're going to do this week. And Scott, between those two, which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with the sweeping rules, Sean, because I think that's maybe the more newsier item that came out. But before we get there, I do want to tell you that, hey, I saw some curlers on my flight home from Europe.
Oh, yes, you did mention this. Yeah. So you were flying back from Switzerland.
From Zurich, yeah. So as we boarded and we were sitting in the very back of the plane, and
it's not like you.
It's like literally the last row. It is what it is. It's fine. And I said to Carrie, hey, I think that's Sven Michel. And then I go, oh, and I think that's Benoit Schwartz-Hurleman that's sitting beside him. And she's like, who are these people? I said Swiss curlers, and then I saw Yannick Schwaller.
Yeah.
And then the lead, I don't even know his name, but he was there too. So I was like, I'm pretty sure it's them.
Okay.
Yeah. And Sven Michel stood up. So after the seatbelt sign went on, he stood up and came back and talked to the rest of the guys on the team for like an hour and like a long time until they got
standing in the aisle.
In the aisle, there was a few empty seats, so he was stepping in a little bit to the rows in the middle. But I was like, wow, this guy knows how to fly long flights, because he was not sitting in that small seat,
not getting all cramps. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but
wow. And I just say, so we don't get any letters, Pablo Lachey Kushapin.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't remember, right? Because the last name I knew was
I think that's new. It used to just be Pablo Lachey. I don't know when he got married and when that happened, but yeah. So he's the lead.
So yeah, and he's quite tall. But anyway, it was fun. And Carrie's like, "Are you going to say anything to them?" I said, no. I'm sure they don't want to get recognized on a flight, right?
They might. I might not happen that often. I don't know.
Maybe not. But I am reminded of another time that I think Lisa Weigel was on my flight, and I was wearing my Game of Stones, and I thought she would say something to me, because like I've seen her at the curling club, right?
Right. Yeah.
But she didn't. So
darn.
Yeah. Maybe I should have had my
big downer.
Maybe I should have had my Game of Stones shirt on this time and seen what happened.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I would have figured those guys fly enough that they never have to sit in the back part of the plane.
I know. I was also curious about that.
Yeah.
But, all these Olympic committees are trying to save money.
Yeah, but just on upgrade point, like just on like being such frequent fly, I would assume that they would be at the top of most upgrade lists if they put their name on it.
But you would think that, yeah.
There you go. Well, we'll see if they struggle this week. It's because they were not in the more comfortable seats.
Exactly. And I mean, they had to go on. So we flew to Toronto. They had to go presumably to Winnipeg.
Yeah. My
flight to Ottawa was canceled, and then the next one was delayed like in the end about 3 hours. So I hope they didn't have those terrible delays in Toronto, but it looked like the whole board was like delayed.
Right.
One
Well, maybe they were
time
just flying to Toronto and doing some training and then going to Winnipeg later in the
afterwards.
week.
Yeah, could be. Anyway, these are my fun travel stories.
So there you go. So if you're ever on a flight from Zurich to Toronto before a Grand Slam, look out.
Yeah, look out.
Yeah, because you texted in our little group chat there. You said, "Oh, I'm on this flight with Team Schwaller," and I put in like which Team Schwaller, because Xenia Schwaller might have been on the plane too.
Yeah, it's true. It could have been.
All right. So anyway, the sweeping rules. So this was released by World Curling on Tuesday, the 6th of January. So they put out this media release, this notice that the Federation, in consultation with the World Curling Athlete Commission, has introduced the new sweeping technique policy aimed at determining the acceptable effects of sweeping and removing sweeping techniques that cause unacceptable effects on the stone. So essentially what they're saying is that we only want sweeping techniques that make the stone go further and hold it straighter. So they don't want techniques that have been introduced over the last few years that are intended to either have the stone back up or slow down. So that's essentially what they're doing. They're also explicitly now prohibiting dumping in front of the stone.
Yeah.
And this is the Richard Hart, Ben Hebert classic from the trials. I can't remember when, where Hebert goes straight up with the hair broom right in front of the rock, and they get into a tiff with each other. And then Linda Moore with the classic. I think that's what the discussion was. And Ray Turnbull, that's definitely what the discussion was about. Just brilliant. One of my favorite clips ever. Yeah. So they're trying to get rid of that. So in doing so, what they have done here is they've eliminated or prohibited the following techniques: the single brush stroke that uses primarily a push motion, the single brush stroke that keeps the brush on the ice while returning to its original position, and single brush strokes that lift the brush head off the ice before returning to its original position. So those big, long push motions that players are using, those are intended to try to slow it down. The other ones where you're coming up, that's the dumping motion as well. So that's really what they're getting rid of here. So all single strokes are not allowed, essentially.
Yeah. So this makes sense to me because it's usually like the last gasp of like, oh boy, we really missed this one. Let's see if we can do it. I feel like I've seen Brett Gallant do this the most, or at least maybe been the most effective at it. And maybe that's just because those are the games I watch more, right? Because everybody does it, but he's good at sweeping, so maybe it works a little more. And I'm not saying that because Brett Gallant is cheating. He wasn't cheating. He was
using the technique that was available to him.
Yeah, and now that's being legislated out. So I think, like, it's probably good that there's an explicit rule on this, and it's probably good that I don't think you mentioned, John, it's going to be enforced by the officials on the ice. It's not.
Oh, I'm waiting to get to that part.
Okay.
I have thoughts on that.
So I think, like, all of this stuff, yeah, it makes sense. I think everybody can get on board with it. Because there are some teams that are better at it than others. Maybe they will feel like, oh, come on, like, just because we're good at this,
right? Don't
punish us. But it is counter to the idea of sweeping that's been in curling for however many hundreds of years curling has existed. Has been that you sweep it to make it go further, and you sweep it to make it straighter.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last 10 years, it's been, oh, we can actually do these other things with it, which is fine. Yeah. But we've talked a lot about how much that is taken away from the importance of the thrower, because there's more margin for error given how effective the brushing is.
Yeah.
So we saw that dealt with first with common fabrics, and then with the foam that came in this year, and you had a good chat with a Goldline on that. And then this is sort of the next evolution of that, in my mind. What do you think?
No, I agree. It is the next step to it. The difference here, though, and I should note that within the policy of the acceptable effects of sweeping, to make it go further, hold it straighter while allowing for some enhancement of the curling trajectory as well. So that's not eliminating any effort to carve it. You can still carve it at the end. So that falls within the policy. We're not prohibiting that. But the difference on these ones, and this is where I don't know how I feel about it. The equipment stuff, if it gets to the point where the players are essentially able to all do the same thing to the stone because the equipment is so advanced that doesn't matter as much, then yes, I get it. But if we're talking here about if my technique is better than yours on doing something, like if I as the athlete can do something better than the opponent, I'm not sure that is as problematic, because as you say, you might be taking away somebody's capability as a player, right? And sweeping is part of the game. And so I like the idea of the technology being such that the players, like, it's effective to a point, but then the difference is how effective the players are at utilizing those tools. And the equipment has to allow enough space in its efficacy to allow the better players the ability to demonstrate that they are better at doing this.
Right.
So that I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't mind not seeing this because frankly, I think it looks stupid when they do it, those big long things. But and dumping, I never really liked it. But like, I don't know, that you see what I'm saying though. It's the equipment is one thing, the technique is another.
I see what you're saying, but if there are some techniques though that are contrary to, like, that are kind of like cheating, then I think it's better to have a clear policy on it than to have it be one of these things that the players can talk about and be like, oh, you're getting pretty close to like dumping or like snow plowing, which I know snow plowing is kind of allowed, I guess. Or is this one of the things that it's taking away?
Well, that's what I wonder. Would that count as a single stroke?
Yeah,
probably
maybe.
Probably would.
Maybe. That middle one is a little unclear to me, but whatever. But at the same time, you can still knife, and be sweeping back and forth and be super effective. It's just you can't try and make the rock slow down or curl more in one motion.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to have to pick, like, if we're going to sweep this to curl, it probably will go further.
Right.
So what do we want to do? Right.
Yeah. I mean, knifing doesn't have it carry as far as like a full brush would.
Yeah. Because you're trying to, you're curling more. So
yeah, I mean, it doesn't slow it down, but it doesn't carry it as far either. So
for sure. So
yeah, like I don't mind the whole thing, right? And I get the idea of adhering to this principle of this is what sweeping is supposed to do to the rock. Like I get that. And so this banning these techniques fits within that principle. So all in all, I understand it. But when you're banning, it's just, for me, it's when you're starting to ban technique, like what's next? Like, is there going to be something next? And I don't know, because at some point, the reality is just that Ben Hebert's going to be a better sweeper than I don't want to get any letters than me. Yeah, right. He's going to be better than me, and as long as we're not having such rules in place that limit that gap, reduce that gap, and allow for the player with the better technique, who's a better player because of that, to bring them back to the field in any way.
Yeah, and I don't think this is doing that, because ideally your sweeping technique will help you to achieve the outcomes of making a stone go further, holding it straighter, while being able to manipulate the trajectory when needed.
Sure.
Like, those techniques are still going to, favor those who are better at it.
Yeah.
Having the equipment all be the same, that was kind of the first step. And then I feel like these single brush strokes are kind of like gimmick stuff anyway, that probably doesn't do much, but it makes sense to have an explicit rule about it, so that we're not quibbling about it and seeing somebody at the Olympics dumping because,
Sure.
It's not technically not in the rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, Kathy's got to love this, because some players were dumping last year and she would not stop talking about it.
Yeah.
So,
So I don't see any big problems with it. We'll see how it's received by the players. I haven't seen many comments.
I think they like it.
Yeah, I think for them it's like I just said, it's explicit and clear.
Yeah.
So, and if the umpires are going to enforce it and not the players, Sean, I think that's good. What do you think?
So, all right, this is the sort of the bigger part of this, I think. So, game umpires have been given the authority to observe sweeping in world curling competitions, and should they see a violation, are empowered to remove to remove the delivered stone from play following an official warning to the offending team. So, just like with Spider-Man, everybody gets one here. So save it for the most important shot of the game and dump away, folks. But the idea that the umpires are going to pull stones, I don't see it. Like, I really don't. It would have to be so blatant.
Yeah.
To the point where I think the other team would still have to say something. Like, I know that the umpires pay attention to the games when they're sitting there. Like, I know that. But I also don't think they're like fully locked in. Like, the number of times where somebody accidentally gets kicked or something, and they turn to the umpire and be like, "Oh, where was this?" And they're like, "What?" They're not. It's not an NHL. It's not like a hockey or a basketball or a football referee who's has to be fully paying attention on every play. They're sitting there mostly trying to stay warm. And when they're called upon, they do a good job, but they're not trained, and the role has never been to really be an active participant in the game.
No, it's not. But this is the kind of thing that they should be looking at, right?
It's a change, though. It's just a big change.
Yeah, I mean, they used to look at hog line violations.
They used to sit at the hog line.
Yeah. The good old days, I say.
I wouldn't say that they were really looking for violations. They were sitting at the hog line.
Sure, they were.
Yeah, all right, good luck. You pull a hog line violation from, Al Hackner, and then see if your tires are still intact when you go to leave the parking lot.
Well, that's why they need these rules written out and to be explicitly given the authority to do this. And they're going to warn everybody, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, this is the first time anyone's ever accused me of this. My rock's getting pulled. It's not like I've never hogged a rock in my life and now the light's going off. Like, that's impossible. Sure. Right. Whatever. But
right.
So like, hey,
it's not because of the brush stroke that the rock slowed down. It just picked.
Well, that's what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to prevent picks. So, yeah, I think it's good. And
No, I get it. Like, yeah, I think for years people have talked, and I think we've talked about this a few times too, that why should the non-offending team always be put in the somewhat awkward spot of having to call fouls in the other team? Like, I get that.
Yeah.
And I agree that, yeah, maybe the umpires should be more active in the game, especially based on what we saw last year at the World Championship. That should be part of it, but it just has never been. So this is going to be potentially a change to that. I think potentially a good one. Again, it's in an environment where what we saw at the World Championship last year, if that becomes for whatever reason more common, and hopefully it's just a one-off, and let's give as much of the benefit of the doubt as we can. But then the umpires really do have to be paying attention on every shot.
They do. Yeah. I mean, they're out there. They
are. I see them. out there. Yeah.
Let's. I don't think this is going to significantly add to their burden.
No, we should note too that for the most part, the umpires are folks who are retired and just love doing it. Like most of them are volunteers.
Yeah,
when they're out there. So
I think the umpires get paid.
Maybe a stipend, but they're not making a living doing it, right?
Well, the curlers are barely making a living. So
it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll just be interesting to see what happens with this. And that's the part of this that I'm the most interested in, is having the umpires now have a more explicitly active role potentially in adjudicating these things, when again, in the past, they're passive in that they wait to be spoken to essentially, or ask something, and then they'll make a ruling or do a measure, whatever it is. But now they have a little more authority to be proactive and step in on the play, which that's just a change in how it's been.
Yeah, it's definitely a change. If we have huge drama because of this, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's possible.
You never know.
So anyway, Sean, we talked about that for 25 minutes.
Well, no, we didn't really start until 10 minutes in.
Oh, okay. So do you think we've sufficiently covered
I think we've covered it. Yeah, that's sort of what I wanted to get to.
Yeah, I think so
the
too.
Sweeping. So we'll see what it's like this week out there at the Players Championship, and then obviously at the Olympic Games coming up in a few weeks. Speaking of the Olympic Games, as I said at the top, we wanted to go back and look at the previous Olympic Games and whether the Grand Slams serve as any sort of predictive force for the Olympics, whether there's any sort of causation between success at the Slams going into the Olympics. So a little harder for the 2022 games, because there were only 2 slams that fall. That year, the Tour Challenge and the Canadian Open were both canceled in the fall of 2021. Of course, COVID restrictions still in place in many parts of the country. One of the slams, I think the Canadian Open, was supposed to be in Vegas that year, and that was canceled for a variety of reasons. So we only had the 2 in the fall of 2021, the Masters and the National. So, Scott, I've gone through, I have the standings for the 2022 Olympic Games and the results of the teams in the Grand Slams.
Yes.
All right, so let's start with the men because it's easier to do this. The gold medalist from 2022 was Nicholas Edin. He went 7-2 in the Olympic Games. He lost the quarterfinals of the Masters, lost the quarterfinals of the National. So 2 quarterfinal appearances for him. Silver medalist was Bruce Mouat. He had a better record in the round robin of the Olympics at 8-1. He won the Masters and lost the final of the National. So 2 finals for him. Bronze medalist was Brad Gushue at 5-4 in the round robin. He lost the semifinal of the Masters, won the National. And then the only other team that played in the slams was Switzerland, Peter de Cruz. They went 4-5 in the Olympics. They did not qualify out of the Masters for the playoffs and lost the semifinal of the National. All the other teams, so the United States and John Schuster, China, and Team Jiu Yu, Norway, Team Wallstad. Remember when it was the Russia Olympic Committee, Scott? They were there. Team Glukov, they did not play in any of these. Joel Returnaz, he did not play. And the Danish team Kraus also did not play in any of the slams. So the 10 Olympic teams, we had 4 in the slams. Perhaps unsurprisingly, 3 of them were medalists. 3 of those 4 were the medalists from the Olympics. Peter de Cruz, not the greatest week for him down there at 4-5. But out of the 3 medalist teams, Bruce Mouat had the most success. Brad Gushue had the second most success, and Nicholas Edin had the third most success. So, of the 4 teams who played in the slams, Nicholas Edin was third out of those, and he wins the gold medal. So,
and all the medalists were teams that had been pretty successful in the slams.
Yeah. So that one's a little easier only because you only have the 4 teams out of the 10 who had played.
Yeah.
So over on the women's side, this is, I think, where it gets a wee bit more interesting. I'm going in final order of finish here for the event, not the round robin standings, because if you remember, we had 2 upsets in the semifinal. Eve Muirhead and Satsuki Fujisawa, who both finished 5-4 in the round robin, beat Anna Hasselberg and Silvana Tirinzoni, who were 8-1 and 7-2 respectively. So start with Eve Muirhead. She was your gold medalist back in 2022 with that 5-4 record in the round robin, and she didn't play in any of the slams. Team Fujisawa, your silver medalist, they were also 5-4 in the round robin. They went 1-3 in both slams and did not qualify for the playoffs. Team Hasselberg, they went 8-1, best record in the round robin. They did not qualify for the playoffs of the Masters, but won the National. Silvana Tirinzoni, 4th place with the 7-2 round robin record. She lost the quarterfinals of the Masters, lost the semifinal of the National. Jennifer Jones, 5-4, just missed the playoff in the tie with Muirhead and Fujisawa. She lost the final of the Masters, did not qualify for the playoffs in the National, going 2-3 there. Tabitha Peterson was 4-5, finishing in 6th place. She lost the quarterfinal of the Masters, did not play in the National. The Chinese team U, did not play in either. The Koreans, Eunjung Kim, 4-5 in the round robin, lost the semifinal of the Masters, did not play in the National. Madalena Dupont did not play in either. She went 2-7. And the Russians, the Russian Olympic Committee, Alina Kovaleva, 1-8 in the Olympic Games, lost the semifinal of the Masters and lost the quarterfinal of the National. So, Scott, as I look at this, the team with the worst record at the Olympics did pretty well. 2 playoff appearances, semifinal and a quarterfinal. The 2 teams that finished first and second got gold and silver. One didn't play at all. The other didn't make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea what to make of this, in the sense of, it kind of feels like when you look at this that going into the we probably said in our preview of the Olympics, Nina Kovaleva, she had good results at the 2 slams, probably coming in doing well, and then just lays an egg over the course of that event. And then with Eve Muirhead, I'm sure we said, keep an eye out for the injury, hasn't played a lot, how's she going to do? And you do have to take into account both her and Fujisawa, 5-4 records in the round robin, not the strongest, but won the games Muirhead won the games that matter. Fujisawa, with the semifinal, won that game that mattered. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I think what I take away when I look at the standings from both the men's and the women's events is that the best teams were at the top.
Yes.
Right. And I think the Swiss team and the Swedish team were the two best women's teams over that quad. For Canada, Carrie Anderson was sort of just starting her run.
Yeah.
And Rachel Holman was maybe coming to the end of the road with their lineup the way that they had organized it.
Yeah.
Didn't have a very good trials, right?
Yeah, and they had gone through that 4 years. Well, certainly Rachel, like her family grew and all that, and the results were good, but not what
we're seeing now.
Not what we're seeing now,
right?
Yeah.
So I think if we think about, hey, did the best teams over the course of that week or 2 weeks, I guess, so drawn out, but did they rise to the top? And I would generally say yes, looking at the round robin results. And the same on the men's side, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Peter de Cruz was a bit disappointing, but he was 4-5. And I think I had it up just a second ago, but Gushue was 5-4. Yeah. And so was Schuster, right? So they like one game off.
Yep.
Not a huge difference. So as we step into 2026, I think, like, I haven't looked at the Grand Slam results this year other than I know Rachel Holman has won all of the events. And I would expect them to be at or near the top of that round robin come the end of the week.
Sure. If
they go 3-6, 4-5, I would be shocked. Right.
Yeah.
So as we look forward, that's sort of my mindset on the women's side. On the men's side, I think it's a little more wide open than it was 4 years ago. Whereas the women, I think it's the inverse, right? 4 years ago, the women's field was a little more wide open. You had the clear favorites in Tirinzoni and Hasselberg, but this year, like, if you're not, I think I said this on my compilation when I was on my heater, like, if you're not picking Rachel Holman, like, that's kind of dumb.
Right.
Like, I don't know what the betting odds are if they've been released yet, but if she's not like minus 1,000, I would be pretty surprised.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll just a quick fact check there on you, Scott. She hasn't won them all. You are forgetting the Canadian Open there in December that Silvana Tirinzoni won, beating Fujisawa in the final. She had won everything up to then, and you were already out of the country at that point.
Yeah, so I don't remember it because I couldn't watch it on Hungarian TV.
Yeah, that's a real failing of the Hungarian television folks there. That was the first one too. I don't think we didn't, because you were already out of the country at that point, Scott. But the first slam ever where there were no Canadian teams in the semifinals for either men's or women's, and there were no Canadian teams in the playoffs for the men.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quite a week.
That is wild.
Yeah. So again, like, you're right. The best teams, we would expect them to do the best or to be the best at the Olympic Games as well. And strange things do happen, especially in the playoffs, where if you look at the 10 teams who are going to be there, maybe not all 10, everyone can beat anyone on every single day, or on any day, one can beat the other, but 8 or 9 of them, maybe.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
There's not as many free passes as maybe there used to be. Of course, that is the longstanding tradition of this country. As the reminder, let me be the first to remind everybody, the world is catching up.
We'll replay that episode.
I really like that
year.
episode. So I think for me, Scott, the takeaway in doing this little exercise, and I know we did this 4 years ago as well, but not in this exact same format in terms of this time we're only looking at the slams. It's that don't look at any individual event or any individual results as predictive at the Olympic Games, right? You want to use the totality of the team's resumes as that force. Like if you are betting on it or making picks, or you're like, I know people do Olympic pools, that sort of thing. The world curling rankings are going to be much more predictive than any individual event. So for this week in particular, out at the Players Championship, watch it, enjoy it, have a good time. The curling should be pretty good, but bear in mind that whoever wins on Sunday, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're obviously going to win in the Olympics or even qualify for the playoffs at the Olympic Games, depending, of course, on who it is. So just take it for what it is. And for all those Olympic teams too, everybody wants to win every game they play, right? As Herm Edwards famously said, you play to win the game. But at the same time, the teams that are going to the Olympics are ramping up,
tuning up. Yeah.
Right. The point is not to peak here in Steinbach. It's to peak in a few weeks over in Italy.
Which is a real shame for the fans there in Steinbach, but I'm sure they'll get over it.
You know where they will peak though, Scott? If they're not trying to peak for the curling itself, this is the final Grand Slam of karaoke of the Grand Slam season. So hopefully they've all rounded into top form there.
Yeah, I hope so. I've got the stream on right now. So
okay. They
just started their
That's
games.
That's late.
I think they started at 9. So
Eastern.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it. Our thoughts on the sweeping rules and looking back at 2022 and what we might be able to take away as we watch this week's Players Championship out in Steinbach, Manitoba. I know before the break and during the Best Of episode, I said we'd be back with bold predictions, but sometimes the news fairy just drops something that you got to pick up before it gets a little too dated.
Yeah. And we'll come back with some bold predictions next time. Sean, do you want to hear the FanDuel betting odds for gold medal winner at the Winter Olympics?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay, so the women, Rachel Homan is minus 210. Which
that's
kind
of nuts. Minus 210 is, so if I put down I'd have to put down $210 to win 100.
To win 100.
So if I put down $210 or put it in the app, $210, she wins. The payout, what they would transfer me back, is $310.
Yes.
That's crazy.
That's
terrible odds.
She's the favorite for a reason. Yeah. I think that's pretty good odds though. I might put some money
but those
on
are
that.
2 one-off games against really good teams that she has to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I know it's like she's really, really good, but to put minus money on it, I don't know.
So here's the value, Sean. Switzerland has the second highest odds at plus 430.
That's the second highest?
That seems crazy to me, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where you put your money.
Yeah.
Sweden plus 650.
Wow.
So those are the top 3.
Next,
it
defending
jumps
champion at plus
650. Yeah.
Jeez.
That's nuts, right?
Yeah. So for context too, if that's the reverse of the minus. So if you put down $100, you'll win 650 on Anna Hasselberg and what was it? 430. So that's the return on $100 bet.
Yeah.
Or they're the winnings on $100 bet.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Those 3, and then it jumps. Korea plus 1,800.
Ooh.
Japan plus 2,700. Great Britain plus 6,000.
Ooh. Sophie Jackson, what's up?
Denmark plus 5,500. China plus 5,000. Here's one I like. I like Italy at plus 10,000.
Wow. Plus 10,000?
100 to 1.
Wow.
And USA also at 100 to 1.
I kind of like that China. Those China odds. Was it, what'd you say? 500? What?
5,000. So
that's not bad. They had a really good run last year at the Worlds. That's
You're right.
You're looking for value. That's not terrible.
I might sprinkle a little there too, but Canada, the clear favorite, like you go minus 210 to the next highest odds at plus 430. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
On the men's side, Great Britain minus 105. So pretty much even money.
Yeah.
To win the gold medal. Canada plus 300, Switzerland plus 450, Germany plus 1500, Sweden plus 1600. How are you not taking Nicholas Edin at 16 to 1? Then Italy.
He's longer odds than Moscatowicz.
Isn't that nuts?
That's a little, yeah. That's
I think we've just found an inefficiency in the market. Italy plus 3,000, 30 to 1 for Joel Returnes. That seems nuts. China 2,200, Norway plus 3,000, 30 to 1, USA 75 to 1, Czechia plus 10,000, so 100 to 1.
Yeah.
Huh.
I like the longer odds on the women's side a little more than the men's side.
I could bet $20 on China to win the Olympic curling gold medal, and I'd win $1,000.
That's pretty good. I don't know. Like of the teams with long odds, because we haven't seen that much of them. And based on the results last year, now on the men's side, if you bet it, you have to think about again what happened at the World Championship last year, and
right,
that. But
I do kind of like that, and I do kind of like Sweden. I like Nicholas Edin.
Nicholas Edin, yeah, 16 to 1 is pretty good.
16 to 1 for, yeah, because they can do it. They haven't had a great year, but
no,
they can win.
Yes, more than capable. Absolutely.
Anyway, I thought that was fun.
Yeah. There you go.
I'll save my next curling story from my holidays for our next episode.
Ooh, that's what we call a tease in the business. So if you want to hear that and our bold predictions next week, unless there's more news that comes out, do subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, like, rate, comment, all that good stuff. Helps other people find the show, keeps us growing. Also, head on over to GameOfStonesPod.com. Past episodes are there, plus a link to the merch. We're also on the socials at Game of Stones Pod, Game of Stones Podcast on Facebook. If you want to let us know what you want to hear on the show, Game of Stones Podcast at gmail.com. Scott, don't tell the story, but to enhance that tease, what is the context?
My friend organized a big surprise for me in Switzerland. So
there you go.
You'll get to hear all about what that big surprise was next time.
All right. So there you go. And we were back on the ice. We had our first game Monday night. We stunk. The other team was pretty good, but we stunk.
I stunk. You guys were fine. I was terrible.
I missed a few. I missed a couple drops by like 12 feet.
Well, so did I. And when you're the last rock thrower, it's not ideal.
Yeah. So really inconsistent start back for me, at least. That my last game before in December was the 17th or something, 17th or 18th, whatever that Thursday was. Didn't play until Monday, which was the 4th or 5th, whatever it was, the 5th. And now I don't play again until next Thursday, which is the 15th. So it's a pretty long break. And then there's a week off on Thursdays as a result, because of a spiel. It's just a real mishmash here of games on and off.
Fits and starts, eh?
Yeah. Our Monday team, we'll play one game in a month.
Yeah.
2 buys and a week off on the holidays. It's when you're trying to turn around a season where you're struggling.
Yeah, not great, Sean. We've gone from the A flight to the B flight. Now we're in the C flight and already a game behind. Yeah. So,
but it sets us up well for bar bucks maybe in the next round. So
yeah, maybe we go to D.
Lives in 26. So there you go. So if you're in the midst of your season, hope you're having a good one, having a lot of fun out there. We'll be with you through the whole winter, talking a lot of curling coming up here with the Scotties Brier World Championships, and of course the 2026 Winter Olympic and Paralympic Games coming up real soon. So until we talk with you again, keep those brooms on the ice and don't dump that insert.
Make the final.